Hello, and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam, and I'm a real person, and today I want to talk to you about Explody Bomb for the Wii U. A few things up front. Let's see, well, there is a written review, which you can check out before, after, or instead of this video review. I've got that linked in the description below, so you can check that out. I would highly recommend that, since I wrote that around the time when I was playing it more, and it's been a while. I just didn't record the audio part for a bit, so hopefully it's not like it's a super complicated thing. I should remember most of the stuff, but for any extra details I may have missed, be sure to check out that written one. Also, it's kind of an awkward one to film, so I don't exactly know how I'm going to film it right now, how I'm going to set it up so it looks okay, but whenever it happens, it happens. You'll see what it looks like when we talk about it. Also, I guess it's a virtual console kind of, not virtual console. I guess it's just an eShop game, so I can't hold the thing up at the end. So that's why I won't be holding it up, because it's a digital thing. I think that's everything pretty much. So yeah, be sure to check out the written one for better details, and hopefully this is still informative enough for you guys. Alright, let's just do the thing. So Explody Bomb is a horizontally scrolling shooter, and it's I guess you would call it more of an arcadey kind of game as well, where basically you're going across the screen, you're going to the right, yeah, and you're shooting things, avoiding things, and trying to get the highest score you can by doing so. And what's interesting about this, though, is that it actually uses both the TV and the gamepad. So on the TV, you control a little pilot who can shoot things. You control that pilot with one of the thumbsticks, one of the joysticks, control sticks, whatever you call it, and fire with one of the buttons. There are multiple buttons that can fire, but you can fire like that. And you'll be trying to shoot down enemies in the way. There are stars that show up a lot. You can shoot them to get them out of your way. They don't give you any points, but if you shoot them, they're not in your way, so you don't have to worry about navigating through them. There are also a variety of, I believe it's only a small variety of, like, maybe 3 other enemies you'll find, at least that I saw, on the top, that you can also shoot. And shooting them usually will have them dropping coins at times, which you can pick up, and those will help get you points. Some of them are stationary, some move, some shoot back at you. So you gotta be careful with what you're doing there. And that's all on the top screen. You're flying across, this city on the top screen. And on the bottom screen, though, on the gamepad, rather, I guess I should say it that way, on the gamepad, well, let's say, like, on the top screen, on the TV, you'll see a flag come up now and then. And that flag means there's a building on the gamepad. So on the gamepad, you use the other stick to move the bomb around, the titular Explody Bomb. And you're trying to navigate it to go in between the buildings that show up on the gamepad. If the pilot gets hit, you lose. If the bomb hits anything, you lose. So you're trying to do that, and also you'll oftentimes find coins between the buildings on the gamepad as well. So these are how you get your points, and the longer you can survive, they start getting to different skews, so it's like, you have to keep an eye on both screens and try to make sure, you're not hitting anything on either of them at any time. You're always in the correct positions and doing the correct things. And you can only fire so many bullets at a time. You only have so many on screen at a time on the TV, so you have to also kind of manage that as well. And it's really just to see if you can get a high score. Getting those coins, also, actually, maybe I'm totally wrong on that, and the coins don't give you the score. It's just every time you pass through one of those buildings. I believe that's actually what gets you the score, so scratch that other part. That's why you're supposed to look at the written one, folks. You get bullshit here. I waited way too long on this one. That's why I gotta do these. But don't worry, other reviews are gonna be better than this one. I hope. Anyways, yeah, but going to the buildings, I believe, is what gives you points. whereas collecting these coins gives you coins, different amounts. There's like I think it might only be in 1, 2, and 3. I could be wrong, but there's like a bronze one, a silver one, and a gold one, which go into a total. And you can use those coins to purchase different pilots. You can also swap between some different palettes and stuff too. The different players have slightly different abilities, and that's kind of interesting. So if you want to switch that, it switches what your pilot and your bomb look like, which can make things easier, harder, or just different. And that's basically all you do in the game is that. Just repeats over and over again. On top of that, I guess you can choose to play this multiplayer, but to do so, it's kind of interesting. I mean, like, the normal way you would play for single player is with the gamepad and, just looking at that and the TV. You could also play single player by using a controller, like the Pro Controller, for example. And doing so, basically, you would want to position the gamepad somewhere so you could see both that and the TV. And you would use that. Basically, you're still doing the same kind of controls, but you're just not, necessarily holding the gamepad to control it. So maybe that might be better for you if you can find a decent setup. Who knows? For multiplayer, what you can do is you can have two people hold on to, one hold on to each side of the gamepad. So you can have one person, controlling the pilot and dealing with the TV, while the other person is controlling the Explody Bomb on the gamepad, so that it's a little easier to have that co-op action. And I think you can also split between them, where whoever has the gamepad controls the bomb, and whoever has the Pro Controller controls the pilot on the TV. I haven't experimented with all of these. I've only experimented with the, normal setup of gamepad and TV, and I think I tried a little bit with the controller and, just looking between the two. And I guess we'll see which one I decided to film. Has been playing right now anyway, so there's that. And that's really that's really the game, Try to get a high score, unlock the stuff, and there you go. That's Explody Bomb. It's very arcadey in that fashion. And I like that. I mean, it's just interesting. It is a very interesting game. It's a nice one to throw on. It's gonna be a fun party game if you want to just have people over and play a little bit of it. It could be a lot of fun. Pass the controller around or have multiple people play and swap in and out to see who can get the highest scores. Maybe even turn it into a drinking game. I don't know. There's stuff you could do with it. And maybe there's something to play in between other things. Now and then you're like, I got a few minutes, I'll just throw an Explody Bomb. And if you just like old school arcade type action, it's pretty simple, and it's kind of like that with the fun twist that actually uses both the TV and the gamepad, which is something that not a lot of games necessarily do, or necessarily do all that well. This is a really cool way to do that. So that's interesting things about it. Also, being able to get those different pilots gives you a reason to keep playing it enough to get enough coins to try and try to unlock those things. That'll also make you better at it because you're playing it more. And then by then you'll maybe want to do better and try to beat your score because you get it. You're not necessarily like, this is stupid and quitting right away because you're trying to get all this stuff. It's also fairly easy to complete, per se, because I don't believe there is an end to the game. And you just, there's not much story. You jump in, you do that, you just do it enough times to get all those coins, unlock the stuff, try out the different pilots, see their different abilities, and see which one works best for you. Try to get the high score. And I believe there are 2 different high scores for 1 player versus 2 player. There's 2 different high scores for those, I believe. So you'll know if you did it by yourself or with someone else, I guess. I think that's how it works. There's some splitting of those, anyways. And, I mean, I don't know, it could be a fun game to do, co-op or in a party or something, and just try to do your best. And it could be a fun time, a neat little bonding experience, I guess. And yeah, it's a retro arcadey type feel without having to, spend money in the arcade. But it's also, it doesn't look real stunning graphically. The same stuff repeats quite frequently. It only has one song, and that one song repeats over and over and over again until it drives you fucking insane. It's a neat little game, but it's not one you're going to be spending tons and tons of hours in, I can't imagine, unless you do just play it off and on now and then. But it feels like it'd be better suited for something like, the 3DS, because then you can just pull it out whenever and just play it for a little bit. Whereas here it's stuck on your Wii U. It's on the TV. You can't watch TV while you play it because you need to be able to see both screens, which is one of the downsides to this thing. And because it is such a simple little game like this too, it's not like it's necessarily going to hold your attention for long periods of time. Not that it's supposed to, but it's also like not going to be the greatest distraction because you have to go to your TV and use up your TV and stuff to do that as well. So I think that's maybe one place where they kind of missed out on it. And there's just not a whole lot to it. You know, there's this one level, there's 2 pilots, there's only a few pilots, like 4 pilots or something. I mean, it's not like it's a really hugely diverse game or anything, or offering you tons and tons of content. So if you're looking for something that has a lot more meat, something you really want to sink your teeth into, this is obviously not going to be the game for you. Then again, I think that's probably just not the way it was intended. So if you like those, you know, old arcadey action kind of games like that, Explody Bomb's a cool game. You might actually enjoy it. It's you know, a little short, but it can be really tough, and it really is, you know, one where you have to play it for a while and really get used to the way it controls, and get used to keeping track of both screens. And again, it can be fun for co-op and parties, maybe a drinking game, I don't know. You could do stuff with it. It's neat, and it's also usually pretty cheap. I don't remember the full price of it. I usually see it for something like, I think it's maybe like $1 or $2 or something. You know, it's not like it's a real expensive game either. And I've often been seeing it on sale. So, you know, throwing a buck or two that way, if you want to get it, I mean, like, if you're interested, go ahead. If you're not really that interested, you can probably find it for, you know, $1 or less during sales and stuff. It might only be $1 full price, though. I could be remembering it wrong, but it might just be $1 full price. It's not like an overpriced game. It's just, if you're not necessarily going to sink your teeth into it, and you think you're not that interested, maybe save that $1 for something else. You know, it could go a long way in the eShop. Towards something else you'd want to get instead. But certainly if you're interested, check it out. And the reason I got it, and I was trying to get through it really fast and then didn't manage getting through it in time before the sale ended, or I guess there was a special offer when I got it, so it was free. It just had it, or no, it wasn't free. It was 1 cent. That's what it was, 1 cent, which is, you know, a lot less than you would pay in the arcade. Let me tell you, for as many times as I played it. So, like, yeah, you can get it on decent deals now and then. That's why I got it and checked it out. And because what else am I going to do with 1 cent on there? I mean, come on, really. And, you know, I'm not disappointed. It's okay. Not highly recommended, but if you're, you know, more into these shorter, more simple arcade-type games like this, you want a filler game to throw in there now and then, I mean, have something to do with parties and whatever, you know, it's a neat one. You might as well check it out. And, yeah, I'll hopefully review more Wii U games that are, you know, actually really awesome rather than something like this, which I don't think really necessarily required the Wii U's capabilities in order to play, aside from maybe the controller. I don't know. So, what did you guys think of Explody Bomb? Have you guys played it? Did you guys get it? And what did you guys think of it? You know, I'd really like to know more from you guys if you are more into these shorter, more arcadey type games, if you liked it. I'm very interested, because I usually like games with a little more meat on them, so maybe I'm a little too biased on it. I don't know, we'll see. Leave that stuff in the comments. Any other Wii U, like, eShop games you want me to check out, or cheap ones, you know. Leave that in the comments, and just other reviews you want to see. You can always leave those suggestions in the comments. I'd like to see those, and I'll do what I can. So, yeah, that's been my review of Explody Bomb. I don't know, I always want to put an E in it, and there's not. And, that just makes me sad. Also, I think there's a story in this game, but it doesn't, it explains it to you in a paragraph, and it doesn't fucking matter, so just don't bug me about that, it's dumb. You know, fuck. It's just, really? If we're being honest with ourselves, fuck.